Hey there guys, I'm back to another game review. Today I am revisiting Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus on the PlayStation 5. Released on the PlayStation Store, players can now enjoy the classic PS2 title on modern hardware. The emulation allows save states, rewinding gameplay, and crisp visuals. This might be the best way to play Sly 1 all for $10. But is the game actually still good? As someone who grew up with the Thieving Raccoon, let's talk about it.
Where do I even begin with the Sly Cooper franchise? It was my first original video game IP my brother and I fell in love with. I started my journey with Sly 3 because my brother tried out the other two at my neighbor's house and we bought the newly released third game. I still remember staying home from kindergarten one day and walking around the first hub world and pickpocketing enemies. Anyways, when I finally dove into Sly 1, I was already used to the sandbox formula. Moving back to the old school platforming level to level design was weird, but still a fun time nevertheless. It's been a while since I played any Sly Cooper game front to back. I want to say more than 5 years, but I honestly have no idea. Diving back into this one though, I had so much fun experiencing this classic title once more while abusing the new emulation features. The story is about Sly recovering the Thievius Raccoonus from the Fiendish Five. They killed his father when he was a boy and effectively sent him to an orphanage where he met his best friends, Bentley and Murray. With their combined skills, they plan to take down the Fiendish Five, retrieve Sly's family book, and avenge his father. A cartoon plot that I can get behind. It's simple, straightforward, and has a lot of heart. The comedy is subtle with action at the center. It's a story that's about a sneaky raccoon collecting his family book from the bad guys. How can you not like this story? Clockwork being an immortal owl who's been hating on Sly's family for generations is fantastic. It really brings the stakes of the final battle to another level. The other villains are great too, very cartoony and goofy, but totally makes sense in this world. Gameplay wise, think of old PS1 3D platformers like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. More like Crash, where the level to level challenges focus on platforming with different gameplay styles every once in a while, kind of like Crash 3 if you will. Stealth is part of Sly's identity, but it's still an action platformer at the end of the day. You'll need Sly's moveset to sneak past guards and climb various obstacles to take down the Fiendish Five. All platforming levels feature a collectible to find, the clue bottles. They're scattered throughout each level, sometimes hidden in really sneaky areas. I try to find every single clue bottle before advancing to the next level. Not gonna lie, I had to revisit certain levels because I forgot where they all were. I usually miss one or two, which means I have to re-explore the level all over again. Even after all these years, collecting the clue bottles is a tricky and fun collectible to look out for. Once they're all collected, look for the vaults in the level to unlock an additional page of the Thievius Raccoonus. Sly will gain a power-up and their uses vary. It can be a dive maneuver or a decoy for the guards to hit. They're neat and feel very right for a platformer from the early 2000s. The non-platforming levels usually involve Murray needing Sly's help as cover fire or using the team van in races. There's also a Bentley hacking minigame which will become a staple in future installments. Overall, they're fine. The minigun levels can be tricky because of how sensitive the crosshair moves. Racing as Murray does come down to luck sometimes. Rewinding was my best friend during these sections. Speaking of the feature, because this is an emulation, you can rewind at any point during your playthrough. Honestly, at first I wasn't going to use it, but after rewinding a few times, I just started spamming it whenever I made a mistake. Whether I would get hit or miss a turn on the racetrack, I'm rewinding. It does make stacking lives very easy and essentially takes all the challenge out of the game because this is your get out of jail free card. If you've never played Sly 1 before, do it sparingly because dying in one hit and a live system is outdated. Rewinding a few times every now and then is fine, but if you've played the game before and a bunch of times like me, let loose with this ability. You've already finished the game before without rewinding, so you might as well abuse the feature in this new version. I'm not going to gatekeep on how you play the game obviously, but that's just my opinion. Rewind as much as you want because it does make dealing with certain boss fights and levels so much easier. There's other emulation features such as visual presets, custom button mapping, region swapping, and of course, save states. I personally didn't abuse these options too much, even the save states, because Sly 1 already has a fantastic save system. One thing I think might bug new players is the inverted controls at times, especially with the camera. As someone who's played this game before, the inverted camera did take some time to get used to again. This is where you can map the right analog stick to be inverted in every direction, but then you'll run into trouble later on with like twin stick shooting levels and whatnot. So in my opinion, I would just try to thug out the inverted controls. All in all, the gameplay still remarkably holds up. The level gameplay for every new hub world is great, with no two hub worlds looking the exact same or having the same exact level gimmicks. The clue bottles are fun to collect, even if I was losing my mind looking for them in certain levels. Anyone looking for a classic PS1 platformer experience can find it right here in Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Presentation-wise, the game looks great on the PlayStation 5. The enhanced visuals from the emulation are good enough to be crisp and sharp while still feeling like a PS2 game. It's pretty much how I remember it from my childhood, 4:3 aspect ratio and all. I ran into some glitches like Sly not sneaking along this wall properly, or during the final Murray section where the characters would have the entire shadow cover their model. I know some people ran into some input delay while playing, but personally I didn't get that. Still, the performance is pretty solid.
Even though Sucker Punch Productions would shift towards the sandbox open world formula for Sly, his first entry is still worth checking out. Now playable on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, you really can't go wrong with Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Nothing has changed from the title aside from the emulation features, which only enhance the game for modern audiences. The story, the gameplay, the cel-shaded visuals all hold up in 2024. Obviously, I would love a remake of Sly 1 with top-notch graphics and maybe some other gameplay enhancements, but for a $10 port, this is great stuff. And with the game performing so well, I can only hope that we get more of the games on the PlayStation Store and maybe a return of the Sly Cooper franchise, but I won't get my hopes too high. And yeah, that is my review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have not already, you can subscribe. I put new videos up on Saturdays. Follow me on social media at TV Sonic Gaming. I put updates to my future videos on there. And you can check out my podcast called the Travis and Damien Podcast. We talk about games, movies, and anime every other week. And yeah, that is all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. And I'll see you guys next time with more videos.